digital baby. I love to spend my Bitcoin ready. I love to touch this Bitcoin, baby. Rewards keep coming. My Bitcoin's on so shady. So send me one more Bitcoin, baby. I love to touch this Bitcoin, baby. It's exciting from all the heat. Constantly, my attaching blood so securely. There's no chargeback, sign up, or other fees. Bitcoin sent to me from your private keys. And it feels like we've been rescued. Mankind set free from the bonds of death's comedy. Irreversible, replayable, invisible, cleverly. So I want you to know, Toshi, I love to earn my digital baby. I love to spend my Bitcoin ready. I love to touch this Bitcoin, baby. It's exciting from all the heat. My Bitcoin's Bitcoin, baby. So send me more Bitcoin, baby. I love to touch Bitcoin, baby. It's exciting to the Bitcoin. There's a lot to be scarce, their worth alone beats every record we've known. I shot for each bubble, that's how miners roll. And the blockchain goes on and on.
Toshi got this program and he saw the power double spins. Proof of work with all the hash, making out some digital cash. Miners stack the same spin, share their answers with their friends. Silicon ring ring, change and swap up. His parents ran with throwing rocks. Saw you full shorty Toshi. Loves his sneaky with her glasses rosy. When the world finds out we can play, you'll join this party fashionably late.
I love to earn my digital baby. I love to spend my Bitcoin ready. I love to touch Bitcoin, baby. Green was coming up in Bitcoin. I love my Bitcoin baby. So send me more Bitcoin, baby. I love to touch Bitcoin, baby. It's exciting to the beat.
All right. Here we are. We're live. New song, new camera off avatar. It's a Monday night chill stream. And I've got 2 viewers already. Welcome to my 2 viewers. Last night was actually the way the last couple of weeks went for me is like my 2 weeks ago, my income dropped like 30%. Last week it dropped 50%. And then the weekends for me on Friday. And then Saturday starts a new week. So Saturday and Sunday of this week so far have been back to normal, good. So, things are better in that regard. And I'm not super worried that, it seems that things, maybe it's just a couple of crappy weeks in a row, and then things will get back to normal, relative normal for what I do. I made a couple of changes, like I said, with the pre-show avatar. I like that avatar. And then I changed the music because that song was a song I was going to use back in the day when Bitcoin broke $20,000. It's actually called Love You Like a Bitcoin, which is done to the tune of Selena's. There was a Mexican girl named Selena who was like almost a big pop star, but the girl who was the head of her fan club shot and killed her. Oh, well. But anyway, so this was done to that tune. It's called Love You Like a Bitcoin. And Selena had the Selena version, the original version, was called Love You Like a Love Song. It was so weird because I've heard the Bitcoin version so many times. When I heard the original version by Selena, I went into some Spanish store in White Plains, New York. I was like, what the fuck is this? You know what I mean? When you get it wrong and then you hear the original, you have an improper reaction. Anyway, it's a Monday night chill stream. Had a bunch of stuff going on. Tonight's show title is Catapultos or catapult, right? Which was an ancient Greek invention to throw big rocks at the walls of a city to break down the walls of the city and get in and kill the people inside and take their stuff. So the catapult is a way to engineer a way to smash through an enemy's defenses, right? That's what a catapult is. So I was thinking about that. I was thinking about early human settlements, how they used to make all these sort of a village with a wall around it. You see them these Neolithic settlements in a bunch of different places in the Middle East and Greece and even in Europe. And that's what the future is going to look like. There's going to be a settlement, a community, an enclave with a wall around it that you can't get through. And that's where people are going to live in safety. This is the way they did it, in 5000 BC. And this is the way we're going to do it in the future for a bunch of different reasons, but not the least of which is the government's out of control, right? And it's going to lose control. And they know it, and they really know it. So there's all sorts of stuff going on. I did my Friday night spaces, my Bitcoin conspiracy spaces, which was just me and Holly for like 2.5 hours, just chatting. And then a bunch of other people came into the room that were Bitcoin people that were, whatever. They were late at night and they were drunk, and then they were. So since it was, like I said, it was Holly and I for like a couple of hours chatting away, a bunch of different things, the different trials that are going on, this Charlottesville trial, the Rittenhouse trial, etc., like that. These guys were, these Bitcoin people were, I was like, you know what? I was like, it's late. And I'm just going to, talk the way I normally talk about the small hats and elite control. And these guys were just like gobbling it up, And some dude, this is the weirdest thing about being an internet, what is it? An internet niche micro celebrity or whatever the fuck I am. There are people that have seen, because I've done so many hours of content. There's people that have seen me that think they know me. And so this one dude who does a parody account, who I like a lot, I followed him. He's a funny guy. And I've done spaces with him where you have to understand, like, millennials, this is also a very anti-millennial stream. Millennials suck. Like, they really suck at like damn near fucking everything. But this Bitcoin guy who does a parody account, right? He's mocking this other account, is trying to be like the super con artist salesman, like, super grifter, right? And you need to feed this guy like sufficient lines, and he'll do a space where he gets like 40, 50, 60 people in the space, and they don't know how to play with him. They don't understand bants. They don't understand conversation. They don't understand flow back and forth. They're not clever. They're not creative. When they try to be funny, it's all like bathroom humor or genital humor. Like, that's all they have. They're really not good. And they think they're fucking, like, the problem with the millennial generation is they're the participation generation. Like, they showed up and they got a trophy just for fucking showing up. They didn't have to play the fucking game, right? And they got a trophy, and that's not the way life is. And that sure as fuck is not the way the internet is, especially if you're going to go on, you're going to produce content and you want to go back and forth and you want to be funny and you want to be entertaining. Well, if you weren't funny before the fucking internet, there's nothing about technology that's going to make you clever and make people laugh at the dumb shit you say. You have to realize there's people outside your friends down the street that the same sense of toilet humor. There's a wider world that has a different taste, and you have to nail it just right. And millennials are spectacularly bad. I mean, it's true, like, for comedy, for stand-up comedians, like, you think of like Kevin Hart and Dave Chappelle, those two black guys who just got hammered recently. For political correctness, trying to entertain is a shitty audience who doesn't even appreciate what these guys can do. And I don't think the world of Kevin Hart or Dave Chappelle, but they're pros. You know what I mean? They put their time in the fucking trenches, and they're trying to make a living. And yeah, you know, the audience is not with it. You know what I mean? The audience is going to see something that is stand-up comedy, and like Hart and Chappelle, anybody that's out there that's, you know, Jerry Seinfeld, George Carlin, name whoever you want to name, right? Sam Kinison, all these guys, you know, they were comedians, and the audience expected kind of edgy stuff and outrageous stuff, and they were looking forward to it, you know. But the millennials are such fucking, you know, stick up the ass fucking uptight losers that I don't think any comedian can make them laugh. You know what I mean? It's really, really tough. Judas Fly Chai, the angry Persian Michelin guy. Yes, Norman Hobbs. I was just DMing him on Twitter. Maybe after I'm done with this, I'll jump on. I said I might jump on his stream. I might go on his stream because I don't know if you saw me. I was on that Politically Provoked. There's a girl, a half Jewish girl named Brittany, which I thought it was Brittany Venti. I thought it was that like transgender octoroon. And I know you're thinking transgender octoroon, James? Really? Oh, I don't know. I think that's what Brittany Venti was or is. I didn't know who Brittany was. I'd heard it. I think I heard OV mention her once, but I thought he was talking about Brittany Venti. This is a different Brittany. This is I think it's a real girl. I'm pretty sure it's a real girl who's like half Jewish girl who has a fairly big Twitter account, and she streams in multiple platforms. Anyway, she had been in like one of Norvin's chats. She heard me and was like, "Oh, I want to have this guy on," or whatever. And I guess was DMing Norman like, "Get this guy to come on my show." And then on Saturday, I got home from Delaware. It was like an early day. It was only like a 9-hour day for me. I got home from Delaware, had a little bit of alcohol, and I said, "You know what? You know what's going on?" And I saw that Norvin was streaming. I said, fuck it, I'll just jump on with Norvin, see what's what. And I was on Norvin's stream for I don't know a couple hours, and then because everything, with the exception of me, there's all kinds of shit going on, like under the surface, right? There's all DMs and secret messages going back and forth. So anyway, this girl must have said, "Hey, come over to my show. I'm doing the after show drinking portion," or something like that. They call it the pop on drink and something, pop on drink and something. I can't remember what it's called. Even though I'm sending it out to people all over the place. Look at me, and I can't remember what the fucking show is called. Anyway, so Norman says, "Oh, we're going over to Brittany's place, blah 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 blah," and he sends me the link. He says, "Come on over." So this is like a multi-stream. Like there's 10 fucking people on the screen, right? There's the girl, there's Norvin, there's that guy Marshall, the Kiwi dude who's very heavily medicated, and Duvid's there. Some red-haired Jew is there. Some metrosexual with his hair dyed blonde and like in a fucking some kind of whatever, some faggoty looking hair, and then there's two other guys. There's a black dude and some other guy. And once I start, like, so I'm on the screen with like 8 or 10 other fucking people, and they're all shit, you know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, how am I going to do this? So I just went in like just fucking like smashing, like fucking hammering, like zero subtlety, zero fucking tact. I just smashed my way into the conversation. And then, of course, I'm bouncing everybody. And Duvid's like, "Is that the real James? Is that the real?" Like, he can't believe it, But Norvin brought me there like I'm some kind of fucking rabid pit bull. You know what I mean? It's like, "James, talk." And so the red-haired dude named Jonah, like he thinks he's clever. He's doing like the homosexual. He's like I don't know that he's from New York, but he's like the upscale New York homo who's just so surprised, and look, there's anti-Semitism here. I never knew, like this. Like I haven't fucking seen that fucking shitty routine before, and I just fucking bashed this guy to fucking pieces. He had no idea what hit him, and so whatever. I was generally, because I was competing with like 9 other fucking, well, not really Norvin and Marshall, but it was like whatever. I had to force my way into the conversation because these people have no sense of flow. They have no sense of how a conversation should go, or let this guy go or let that guy go. It's not about making a good show. It's about I mean, they really think like they're fucking celebrities or something. Trust me, you're not a fucking celebrity, and they think much more of themselves than anyone else does. Anyway, they suck. I'm great, and but I had to go in like a fucking sledgehammer and bash my way in, and that was pretty funny for a while. But I got they started doing their stupid shit, and I ended up getting fucking really bored and bailing out. But it's this chick could be like the next Luke Ford if she plays it right. That's what I thought she was like more ambitious. I started sending her some DMs on Twitter, but I don't think she's thoughtful enough to even be Luke Ford. Anyway, seemed like a nice girl. Wish her the best, and that's that. Okay. Where are we? Man, we got so much stuff going on. As of like, I don't know why this week the Bitcoin's down to like 63K. Some Marathon Digital, which is part of Marathon Oil and Gas, just announced they're going to borrow $500 million to buy Bitcoin and mine, partially to buy Bitcoin and partially to just outright and then mine Bitcoin. And the rest of the world is really not fucking up to task. Not fit for task. So let's go to some of the mail we got here. Let's see. Let's go with this one. I'll just go with this one. This is a pretty good one. Stuff I'm grabbing off of Twitter. This to try to show you that they're really working very, very hard to suppress the price of. It's got to. There can be no other reason that the price of Bitcoin is so low. I'm getting very, very super conspiratorial. So where we at? Show up on the screen. Wow, computer's working extra crappy today. This is really bad. I'm getting pissed. No, I'm going to relax. Okay. Oh, look, it's coming up. Oh, it's coming up. Here we go. Come on. Come on. You can do it. And I try to close everything that's not, that could take up any resources. So yeah, here we go. It's the Bank of England's John Cunliffe says Bitcoin threat to financial security is, quote, getting closer. The deputy governor warns regulators must act before crypto assets become a major risk. So when people like me say that Bitcoin's going to take over the world reserve currency status, you think, oh, you're a crazy person and you're talking nonsense. You bought into this fantasy and it's not going to happen. But apparently one of these deputy guys, Bank of England, seems to think the same as I do, which I'm not from England. And strangely, these big shots with excellent educations, they're super smart in the world of finance. They're not dumb guys who drive boxes like me. But you know what? Apparently, they're coming to the same fucking conclusion I am, except they're coming to this conclusion about a year late. So here's the same guy. Another quote. See if it comes up. Swastika guy in the chat. Hello. I've never seen you before. Am I worried about $6 gallon gas? Yeah, I am a little bit. So here's the deputy from the Bank of England again. Britcoin. Bank of England says earliest launch for digital pound could be 2025. Could be at the earliest. If they get everything right, if everything 100% goes their way, 2025 is the earliest that they could make this happen. Now, that means they are caught flat-footed and they're desperate. Part of the reason why Bitcoin's price is only $63,000, $64,000 is because they're using all kinds of methods to hold it down because they're not fucking ready. Like, they think they can be ready in 3 years, but trust me, they cannot be ready in 3 years. Here's what's going to happen. whoever the Bank of England or the Federal Reserve hires to do the digital dollar or the digital pound or the digital euro, whatever the digital currency is going to be, that's going to try and compete with Bitcoin, the really smart developers, the really smart guys are going to promise their masters everything. They're going to promise them everything. And then they're going to get into this fucking shit show of trying to create a digital currency with all kind of backdoors and cheat codes for the elites that fuck the pros, right? This is going to be an impossible fucking task. And they got only 3 years to do it. And here's the thing. The smart developers are going to promise the world they're going to work on these projects for 24 months. And then a year before launch, they're all going to leave the project because they know it's a fucking shit show. They know it's a disaster that's not going to work. And they need to leave before the train wreck happens, right? So that's what they're going to do. And but they'll collect big fat paychecks between now and then they'll go do something else. They'll take a spiritual retreat or whatever, and they will be around when the thing blows up. Swastika Man in the chat. UK just banned coal. They are removing fossil fuels, which will crash all economies and require crypto-based UBI. Well, it's going to require digital UBI, but they're not even going to have that ready. These people are screw ups on levels like you cannot imagine. There's things that are so insane. Like there's nothing in the most crazed flop sweat right wing fever dream that could come up with what's going on today. Right? You look at the Rittenhouse trial. The Rittenhouse trial and the prosecutor saying, well, if you brought a gun, you don't have the right to self defense. They're like all kinds of, like literally they're saying things that are in direct opposition to reality, and they're getting away with it not being smacked down with it. And so what will the ultimate outcome of that be? I don't know, but it's going not going to be good. But to continue with what it probably looks more significant than it really is. What'd I do? Oh, wait a minute. I meant to hit share. I meant to hit this one. Hit the wrong button. This is another quick story out of Europe. The nation of Slovenia, which is where I think Trump's wife, isn't she Slovenian? I thought she was Slovenian. It's one of those tiny Eastern European countries that no one ever really thinks a whole lot about. But here it is, Slovenia. Drivers must present COVID certificate in order to refuel their cars. Now, I don't know how many privately owned cars there are in Slovenia. I think it's a super poor country where private car ownership is pretty rare. But the based, defiant Christian Eastern Europeans are not as based, not as defiant as people like to think they are. So, if they're trying to squeeze the wealthy people who can afford their own private cars, or even like taxi drivers, they have to buy fuel. You know what I mean? To get vaxxed, there's enormous amounts of pressure being put on nation states to conform to an agenda that is that's literally insane. We all know it's insane, right? What do we got here? Which one? Let's go with this. Is this the one I wanted to see? Yeah, this is. And here's ultimately, this is, as if you hadn't seen this coming. But the queen of evil herself, the one and only Janet Yellen, former chairman of the Fed. Now she's Treasury Secretary. What is the difference? There it is. Yellen, inflation will stay high until COVID is under control. And it's basically at this point that we have to acknowledge that COVID is the flu. You know what I mean? So the flu has not ever been eradicated. It will not ever be eradicated. So what they're saying is that high inflation is coming and staying, and they're already trying to shift the narrative. They're trying to blame it on COVID. I don't know who's going to believe her, but they're spitting out these narratives left and right. They're really desperate. They're really flat-footed. They don't know what's about to fucking hit them. I mean, everything with these people is a rerun. The 1930s politics is more than just swastika man in the chat, right? There's the right wing group of people who wish it was 100 years ago, the 1930s, and there's the left wing group of people that wish it was 100 years ago, the 1930s. And neither one of you are correct. The 2030s will contain some elements of the past, as every decade or every century contains some elements of the one that came before it. But you're reading way too much into this if you think that the 2030s are going to be a fucking repeat of the 1930s. There's just it's just not going to happen, right? I would love to have a debate about this or a discussion about this, except there's nobody to discuss it with. You know what I mean? The people who expect 100 years ago politics to be next year's politics are not people who are dealing with reality, right? And they suck at argument, and they're dishonest anyway. So, and that quote, I read that quote earlier this week. There's a quote by Bill Murray, the comedian Bill Murray, which I fucking love this quote. And it's a great quote. This is the quote. It's hard to win an argument against a smart person. It's impossible to win an argument against a stupid person. So if you have a stupid person and you're trying to argue with them, you're literally never going to win. For somebody like me, like that show I went on with those Jews, like it was fun to go in there. It was like the end of an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie in the 1980s. You like me, Norvin, and what's his name, the Kiwi guy, we bust into the hideout where the bad guys are and we shoot them up and they flop over dead or whatever. Metaphorically, of course, like a movie script. So it was fun to do. It was like a shock and awe thing. They didn't really, had never dealt with anyone like me before. I mean, Duvid had, but everyone knows I left Duvid as a greasy red smear in the fucking sidewalk of the internet. But these other guys, their tools are like if you understand argument, if you understand the tools of argument, reductio ad absurdum, appeal to the mob, assumption of authority. Like the Jews always do that. They go, oh, but wait a minute, you're ideologically inconsistent, as if somebody put them in charge of fucking ideological consistency or their fucking version of what you should think matters. You just ignore all that shit. You just fucking hammer them. You just fucking smash them. You just literally ignore everything they say. And the thing I had to do, and it works, it's crude, but it works, is you mock their physical appearance, right? You mock their physical appearance because they really operate at the level of fucking whatever, like second grade. You know what I mean? That still works on them. And for me, that's throwaway shit. Like I don't even give a fuck. You know what I mean? That's like a feint. In boxing, you ever see boxers like where they pretend they're going to jab? They don't really jab. They just kind of pretend they're going to jab. They just stick it out there. And if the other guy goes like this, they know, okay, he'll respond to that. So I can jab. He can move that way. And then boom, you can come with the counter. You can come with the right hand or whatever. So when I'm insulted, when I'm mocking someone's physical appearance, I don't really care. You know what I mean? That's throwaway stuff. That's not my best shit. That's me fainting. That's just me seeing, will you react to this? Will you react to that? Will you react to that? And when you do, I know I can, one, I can distract you with that while I fucking slam you with something else, which is basically what I did. Anyway, it was funny. I DM'd, if you're on Twitter, the girls, Twitter thing is called Politically Provoked, and it was her pop on drink and stream or something like that. It's up there from whatever, like 20 hours ago. You know what I mean? So it was Saturday night. Anyway, it was fun to do, and that's that. Blah blah blah. Where am I going with this? I don't know what else I got to do. What else? How long am I going for? Like half an hour. Yeah. So the future is going to look not in. I mean, the further future, in the immediate short term. What swastika guys talking about $6 gallon of gas that may get here. That before they Biden is done, that may get here. And man, I don't know. I have no idea what the fuck that effect is going to have on people. It's like makes me nervous. You know what I mean? It makes me really fucking nervous. Um, but I don't, like I don't know how bad it can get. What are the worst things? The worst thing that Biden did, and they're going to kill him with this. They're going to fucking destroy him with this. I mean, he said he's going to create $45 an hour jobs. He's going to create millions of $45 an hour jobs where you can, buy a house and have kids and raise a family, and like to actually put a number on that, that shows how fucking desperate they are. They are so fucked that like they cannot imagine getting unfucked. So they say, we're going to create millions of $45 an hour jobs. People are going to hammer them forever with that. And then, of course, they call the kid Rittenhouse a fucking white supremacist. This is not going to go well for them. But the thing about politics always was, right? You make a vague promise. You don't actually deliver on the promise. Because if you put a specific line in the sand, I'm going to create $45 an hour jobs. Somebody's going to come back to you in 6 months and go, how many $45 an hour job did you create? And who got the job, right? And when you don't have an answer, they're gonna smell that blood in the fucking water, and boom, they're gonna come after you like a fucking, like Jaws going after a little baby fucking seal. So that's gonna be good, and that's just gonna highlight the economic thing more and more and more. The Bank of England is not ready for digital currency. The Fed is not ready for digital currency. The European Central Bank is not ready for digital currency. The Chinese are not ready for digital. All of these fucking announcements and pronouncements and something shows it's just proof that they have nothing. They have zero. They have nothing. And they're going to have to expend an enormous amount of time and energy and resources trying to keep this zombie system going before they turn on their digital version. And it's going to be a fucking disaster. I guarantee you it's going to be a fucking disaster. But when that happens, I don't know. That's why I try to tell people, buy as much Bitcoin as you can. Trade your shitty Zog bucks or whatever, I don't know what euros are called, euros, right? For Bitcoin, as fast as you can, as much as you can. Stop buying shit you don't fucking need. Sell shit you already have that you don't fucking need, that's in your garage or somewhere. Just fucking get rid of it and buy Bitcoin with that. And then custody your own Bitcoin. And that's one way to prepare for the disaster that's fucking coming, Swastika guy, if McDee's employees are making $45 an hour, the economy will really crash. Well, I'll tell you, I was in Nashua, New Hampshire about 6 months ago, right? Nashua, New Hampshire, it's like, it's by the Vermont border. And there was a sign up there. They were paying, I think they were paying $25, $21 or $25 an hour to work at McDonald's. And I'm not kidding you. They're like what was it? I think it was $7.25 a week working at McDonald's. And I Googled that for like $7.25 divided by 40 was like $25 an hour. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? It's like this is Nowhereville up in New Hampshire. It's all like, pine trees and fucking empty roads and stuff. Moose, whatever. I didn't see any moose, but there's signs for moose up there. And, super white population. I mean, it's freezing, but whatever. And I was like, I was so curious. I came home. I was like, the sign stuck in my head because I dropped off the aircraft parts had to drop off. And I'm like, I got to get some fucking food. I got to start driving back because New Hampshire's a long drive. And so there's nothing around. There's, well, fuck it. You got to go to McDonald's. So I go to McDonald's, but the line was too long. And that's when I noticed this sign. And when I made the U-turn to get out of the McDonald's parking lot. And I ended up going to grab whatever, cold sandwich at a fucking Sunoco gas station and a cup of coffee and driving home. The high quality diet that I subsist on that gives me the fucking power that I have. But yeah, but the McDonald's goes, what the fuck? But then I went on Craigslist and I put in like apartments for rent, Nashua, New Hampshire, or something like that. And the apartments up there are like fucking $1,900 a month. You know what I mean? So yeah, you could make 725 a week flipping burgers at McDonald's, right? But that's only like 2,500 ish a month, and the rents up there are fucking insane. Shoddy Karate MMA. Nashua actually borders Massachusetts on the southern border. Possibly. Yeah, okay. An old rundown mill town. Was there water around there? Yeah, there was kind of. I guess there was some. Oh, I saw a whole lot of water stuff around there. But there's still a jet port there. So private jets land there. People need parts. They order them. I deliver them. So I've been there maybe twice in 6 years. You know what I mean? I don't go there too often. You know what I mean? Like I go to Burlington, Vermont more often than I go to Nashua. But Shoddy Karate went to college there. Oh, interesting. Yeah, it's not a bad area. It's like it's New Englandy, and the roads were really empty. You know what I mean? I was up there midsummer-ish. You know what I mean? But it was still on the cool side. Driving from the New York, New Jersey area, which was hot up there, I could feel the temperature changing in whatever couple hundred miles it was. I'm always tickled by that. I know the elevation's going up slightly higher. I mean, it's not a steep grade, but it's whatever. It's like a 3% grade for 240 miles or whatever the fuck it is. So you end up being like in the mountains up there, and it's cooler and drier air. So I got a kick out of that in summertime. So anyway, but yeah, it's, if they're paying 20 plus bucks an hour to flip burgers, you know what I mean? And the locals know that, and they're going to jack the rents up to $1,700, $1,800, $1,900 a month. You could flip burgers. I don't know what your wife could do, but you could, in theory, live up there. You know what I mean? I actually thought, like, why the fuck not move up there? What's keeping me here? But the answer is, the rents up there are fucking way higher than they are here. And this is, I'm, in the shadow of fucking Mordor. And any base model only costs $20K. Have you seen the new Ford Maverick pickup? It's a hybrid that gets 40 mpg. No, I have not noticed them on the road. Base model $20K. Yeah, they're only giving like 5-year life expectancies for new vehicles. I heard like transmissions they're only like warranting for 5 years or something. I don't know. There's a bunch of stuff going on with new vehicles. I do not understand that. I don't trust. And to be honest, I mean, I may end up buying one. The company I work for wants me to buy a small van, like the Ford Transit van, right? You've seen the Ford Transit van. It's a small little van. There's a Nissan NV200. And there's a Dodge version as well. But these things are like $26,000 trucks. And I drive 100,000 miles a year. And after 3 years, it'd be destroyed. So you gotta make that truck work. And plus you gotta keep it running. You know what I mean? Like routine maintenance in those 3 years. And I didn't want to buy one because, whatever. It didn't seem like a particularly good deal at the company I work at. But I was talking with a van driver and he was like, you know what? It's worked out really well for me. And you should probably do that. So I may end up buying one of those trucks, but I borrowed money to buy Bitcoin last October after I got scammed. So I got to pay that loan off first before I take out another loan. Cause I don't want to be working fucking 90 hours a week forever. You know what I mean? Yeah. Junkyards can't get rid of EV batteries. Yeah. There's a lot of this stuff is man, this is so not going to work. There's opportunities to fucking, like you talk about EV batteries or recycling electric vehicles or hybrid vehicles. There's probably going to be a business for that. Like somebody will just take these things and dump them all in fucking Guatemala or something like that. You know what I mean? Like they'll just ship them all to Guatemala as used cars, but the guy in Guatemala is going to be partners with them. They're just going to dump them all in a fucking canyon or something like that. And then 7 years from now, they go, oh my God, all this battery acid is dribbled into to the water supply, killing the Guatemalan fucking tsetse fly or some shit like that, and it's all America's fault, and then because America will be full of Guatemalans then, and how are they going to get any more money? Well, they'll sue the federal government or Ford Motor Car or Toyota USA for fucking poisoning their environment. And they'll get the jury will the entire Spanish speaking jury will just fucking give them a gajillion fucking dollars. I have no doubt about that. I have no fucking doubt about that. But yeah, price of corn got to be, I suspect, is artificially suppressed. Biden just signed the infrastructure bill, $1 trillion. You're not going to get any roads. You're not going to get any bridges. You're not getting airports. You're not getting train tracks or fucking bus stations. You're going to get woke, blue-haired, nose ring fucking workshops on transgenders in wheelchairs or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? It's going to be a gigantic wealth transfer, mostly to those fucking people. You're not even going to get the bridges and the potholes fucking filled. That's the really shitty part. And then they're going to do a fourth stimulus, right? Delivering jet engine parts in a Cybertruck would be badass. Cybertruck has a life expectancy of 1 million miles with battery replacements every 500K. Talk about the Tesla Cybertruck, the Tesla one. Yeah, I don't know what it costs per mile to run, but I'm not probably getting paid that much. And I would be terrified of an electric vehicle. Especially in the cold, I could just not imagine it. No, I could imagine it not working. But it sounds good. It sounds very. Here's the thing: the private jets are not going anywhere. They're fucking flying like crazy. Teterboro fucking flight. I don't know how many flights per day, but it's like insane. It's nonstop. Particularly, I mean, just like it always was. So no matter what they tell you about the economy, the people at the top are doing great. They're doing great. You know what I mean? There's endless amount of those fucking planes flying around. So you're going to get fucked. The middle class is going to get fucked. People are going to fall out of the middle class into the lower class. God knows what's going to happen to the lower classes. And then sooner or later, people are just going to stop paying for shit because, like I said, all that money is going to go to fucking rent and clothing, and they won't have any money for food, and they'll just go in the supermarket and just take the fucking food, and what are you going to do about it? And what are you going to do about it? Right. So, yeah, that's what I see coming down the road, and that how the government responds to that is going to be interesting. But that's that. I mean, we're what else do I got? Yeah, there's not much else. I'm trying to look at. I believe it or not, I actually do write down some notes. Mostly, what I do off the top of my head, but I write down some notes to try to guide me, so I'm not completely lost. Because for me, it's the end of the week, and I'm having a little bit of alcohol, so you know what I mean. Like the mind can fucking wander a little bit. But yeah, basically, if I can be a happy warrior type, you know what I mean? If I can make a couple jokes along the way and get people to prep better, you know what I mean? And that, like I said, that's going to look different for different people. I don't know what people's circumstances are. You could be just married with 2 kids. You could be like Bob Paxton's a boomer. You know what I mean? All his kids are grown and gone. There's a bunch of different people that I know subscribe to the show. It's impossible for me to write one prescription for everybody and make accurate predictions of what's going to happen 2 years out, 5 years out. But Clown World, I think, is only going to get worse. You have to don't react emotionally too much to the shit you see on social media, and understand that it's likely that as the economy fails, the government's going to get more confiscatory in the tax rates, and everything that's already taxed, I suspect, will be taxed dramatically more, to the detriment of the lower and middle classes and to the benefit of BlackRock and Vanguard. You know what I mean? So if you expect that and you kind of prepare for that, if you detach from things emotionally and you don't go balls deep into things that you can't get out of quickly, um, you might be better off than a deep commitment to some high value thing that is heavily regulated or heavily that the state can take from you. You know what I mean? That can be. You don't want to be like a modern day Cuban refugee that says, when Castro came, they took everything from us. You don't want to be that guy in your own country. You know what I mean? You don't want to be that guy. So, if you can, I would, to be honest, depending on what you have in terms of wealth, I would look at putting shit into a trust. Put it all into a trust, like a family trust or something like that. Maybe a bunch of different properties. You tie them all together, put them in a trust, and that way it's not in any one person's name. It's the kind of thing that Bill Gates has done. It's the kind of thing that the elites have done to keep the things that they value away from certain governmental controls. So, I don't know. What's my prediction for the Kyle R trial? I still think the jury's gonna come out right. I think the kid walks. I don't think too much happens right now. I think they save it for. I was talking about this. There was a big 2A case that the Supreme Court heard on November 3rd. Right? It's about special needs, right to carry, blah 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 blah. And from the questioning, and you could read the questions, the oral arguments online, it sounds like there's going to be a majority opinion very heavily in favor of the Second Amendment as it's written, right? As it's written constitutionally, which is a plus for people who are concerned that, you might have to go outside your house and there might be bad people out there and you can't avoid it and you can't talk your way out of it. And you have to resort to lethal force. So that case is a big case, but my understanding is the ruling is not coming down until June of 2022. And, the deep state or the small hats or whatever, I don't know if they think they can influence the entire Supreme Court with a false flag like Vegas, but they might try that, like right before, like shortly before the ruling is the official written ruling is due out. They do some sort of horror show thing where it changes the ruling. I don't know. Will they try that? I think so. Probably not for this Christmas, but I could see that happening next summer. Another George Floyd, another whatever. So, swastika guy in the chat, those $600 stimulus checks are going to end up costing us $60K. That's true. If you'd have taken your original stimulus check and bought Bitcoin, it would be worth $12,000 right now. $12,000. So if you're on Twitter, just search out Bitcoin stimulus and follow that guy, and he'll post the original stimulus check. If you'd have bought Bitcoin when it first came out, or whatever the fuck it was, March of Trump's last year, you'd have 12 grand. No other asset. No, there's no other asset that has the rate of return that Bitcoin has. It's just not even close. It's not even close. Remember, it's extraordinarily difficult for them to confiscate, almost really impossible for them to confiscate. And when richer people who are not as smart as you figure that out, they're going to pile into this thing big time. And it will be impossible for you to pile into it. It's still relatively cheap. Not to say that it's cheap, and most people can't even afford a full Bitcoin. But as much as you could buy and just dollar cost average and add to your stack, as they say, that's absolutely going to be the best choice. Not only, even if not for your life, but for think of your children or your grandchildren. You want to have a lower time preference, a much, much, much lower time preference. And for anybody that wants to debate me on, oh no, we're going to go back to gold fucking bars and paper bills with pictures of Adolf Hitler on it. I don't think that's going to happen. If you are given Bitcoin, is that considered taxable? Good question. Excellent question. I don't know. I'm not a tax expert, but the recent Bitcoin just went through a software upgrade called Taproot, which actually increases the privacy aspects of Bitcoin, enhances that even more. So It's a damn good question. It's a really, really good question. This is a concern a lot of people have. Like the IRS is going to be able to track all these wallets and all these transactions. But remember, Bitcoin is used by 125 million people across the world. I don't think that I don't think the IRS will ever have enough computing power to figure out who owns what wallet and where that all went. Um, Bitcoin's the doomsday asset. You know what I mean? For when the whole fucking thing falls over, and then people pick up their heads and go, "Okay, well now what? Now what do we do?" You know, when the U.S. dollar is like Confederate dollars, right? The dollars from the Confederate States, when it's just piles of worthless paper that you give to children to play with, like Monopoly money, you're going to need something else, and that thing is almost certainly going to be Bitcoin. Almost certainly. But I do not know. I am not a tax attorney. This is not financial advice. I am a political extremist whose main goal is to peacefully, and legally destroy the Federal Reserve Corporation of the United States because I believe that to be the seat of all elite power. I believe that elite power to be Jewish. I believe it to be inherently negative and anti-freedom. And I am a pro-freedom guy. I am a pro-freedom guy. So, yeah, I don't know. Is BTC a gifted taxable event? The IRS considers it like property. So if you gave property away, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe only if the property sold for or traded for something else. I don't know. Really good question. I would Google that. I would talk to some super cyber lawyers that with law degrees but I'm not that guy. I am not that guy at all. Anyway, where am I? It's coming up on 1 hour. The shorter I keep these, the more views I get, and just of course, because I live for YouTube views. Anyway, guys, I really don't have a whole lot more to say right now. You know what I mean? I don't want to ramble over much and can't go over the same ground too often. But hopefully everybody likes a new avatar change and a better song, which is shorter. It's only like 4 minutes. It's not 6 minutes, although it is extremely Bitcoin focused. So what I'm going to do, I hate this. I swear to God, Google does this on purpose. Up here for me, like right there, I realize on your screen there's nothing. But for me, there's a counter showing how many people are watching. And as soon as I go, hey, listen, guys, I'm going to sign off, the number goes doink, 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 higher and higher and higher. It's fucking YouTube fucking with me on purpose. Anyway, I'm going to listen. Thanks a lot, everybody, for showing up. I'm going to let you all go. We'll see what happens this next week. Fingers crossed for our boy Kyle that everything falls out the way it should. And we'll see what happens. I'll talk to you guys next week.
QE said and done. All your fiance playing to me on the sun. But no more because now there's a better one. And it's property. No more better than all the rest of them. It's mathematical. No more double spending incredible. Put your cash in your brain or it's wearable. A new form of wealth begins, and I want you to know, Toshi, I love to earn my digital gravy. I till she's Bitcoin, baby. Rewards keep coming. My Bitcoin's on so shady. So send me one more Bitcoin, baby. I love suspicious Bitcoin, baby. It's time for all the heat. Constantly, my detaching bolts also told me there's no chargeback sign up or other fees. Bitcoin sent to me from your private keys, and it feels like we've been rescued. Mankind set free from the bonds of death-based currency. Irreversible, replayable, divisible, cleverly. So I want you to know, Toshi, I love to earn my digital currency. I love to spend my Bitcoin, baby. I love Satoshi's Bitcoin, baby. A69 from all the heat. I like my Bitcoin's Bitcoin, baby. So send me more Bitcoin, baby. I love Satoshi's Bitcoin, baby. A69 take a baby. There's a lot to be scarce that worth alone. Beats every record we've known. I show up or reach from, that's how miners own. And the blockchain goes on and on.
Toshi got this problem and he saw the power double space. Proof of work with all the hash, making us some digital cash. Miners stack the safer spin, share their answers with their friends. So-called rich rate changes block on his cannon, frame throwing rocks. Saw you full shorty Toshi. Folks in stadium with their glasses rosy. When the world finds out we can't play, you'll join this party fashionably late.
I love to earn my digital baby. I love to spend my Bitcoin, baby. I love to touch my Bitcoin, baby. Green was he coming up in Bitcoin. I love my Bitcoin, baby. So I love you, Bitcoin, baby. I love to touch my Bitcoin, baby. I love you. It's exciting to the beat.